So we're about at that point in the cycle where we can start talking again about a Shiba Inu supply shock. And while I will say we've talked about this before, more so in theory and what should be coming down the line, we're now at that point where there is so little supply in exchanges where we can in fact see that impact price. And this is a very big deal. We need to have a discussion about this. I want to talk about a few other comments and questions as well. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So there have been a lot of people that have been negative and have trash talked Shiba Inu, and that's fine. Frankly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me at all. The charts will do what they do. The fundamentals have looked good for a very long period of time, and they've been progressively getting better. Like I've talked about here in 2025, it's been some big steps on a fundamental level. We've seen whale holdings increase. We've seen holders on the rise. We've seen exchange supply drop. We've covered these things very extensively as this year has progressed. And we're now getting to a point where we can start seeing that impact in a much bigger way. On a chart level, again, I want to point back to that weekly stochastic RSI. The reason why is, again, we're doing what we did here basically back in, this pivot in April into the middle of May. Did this same thing back here of September, and then we obviously ran into the early part of December and of 2024. And then obviously in 2023, as we kicked off this bull market cycle, we saw this flip and pivot, same thing here. And that's kind of where it feels like we're at now. We're prepping for this big massive move ahead for SHIB. I want to remind everybody that back in basically February of 2024, we had a weekly candle that was 133%. Am I saying that's going to happen today or this week? No, not necessarily. Could it surprise a lot of people and happen out of nowhere? Absolutely. And now it's kind of funny because there's a lot of people trying to spread some misinformation when it comes to SHIB. And there's one comment. Oh, that's the wrong one. There's one comment I want to highlight specifically. And what this said was SHIB will liquidate the token and drop to zero, just like Terra Luna. And the fact that people don't know SHIB fundamentals is kind of wild. There's no mint function with Shiba Inu. It's a renounced smart contract. Terra Luna actually had a mint function that was tied with TUSD. So no, that's not a thing. Not going to happen. Sorry, you lose. And this is why a lot of people, frankly, are going to get left behind, is because they just fall for the negativity. They fall for the negative comments and the crap that people are saying. And then when SHIB decides to make a massive run like it did back here, people are left on the sidelines wondering what the hell happened. That's why we take a more proactive approach. That's why we talked about SHIB fundamentals in such a big way. And that's why I want to show you guys exactly what I'm going to show you here. So since February of 2024, we have seen tremendous amount of supply removal, okay? Over 83 trillion Shiba Inu removed from exchanges during that time. And what I've found is that every time we've started to make a SHIB pivot and rally to the upside, this exchange supply has started to react the exact same way. Take a look at this. It was dropping. We got kind of this bull movement here and then a slingshot to the upside. Same thing back here in October of 2024. It's kind of this bull movement and then a slingshot to the upside, right? We're doing the exact same thing right now, and exchange supply still remained very, very low. Guys, there is only 84.2 trillion SHIB available on exchanges. That's in line with a lot of major assets in the space in terms of a percentage of total supply. So we're seeing a very consistent trend, and that is that people want to buy and hoard supply, and that we're slowly taking steps forward in terms of holders. Actually, just yesterday we crossed 1.524 million holders. So fundamentals have continued to take these steps forward. And the big thing that's been lacking for Shiba Inu, the big thing that's been lacking for the market in general, is demand. We haven't had a big demand surge. One, because meme coin interest had been so low, people had frankly not cared about it. The big focus was obviously big US-based layer ones and AI. Meme coins are kind of the last thing to move. That's why typically when we go through these rotational trends, you tend to start with those layer ones. Then you move to AI tokens and RWA tokens. That kind of falls in the same basket there. Then you finally see meme coins, right? That's why we were talking about a meme coin season the other day, is because meme coins are in fact starting to show a little bit of optimism. But the big thing that people need to remember is a lot of what we're seeing is, excuse me, I have something in my throat. A lot of what we're seeing is still capital that's within the market currently. Now, I did talk about this in a video earlier. We're seeing exchange app downloads surge in a big way. Basically, 3 exchange apps are actually in the top 200 downloads on the Apple App Store. We are actually seeing Coinbase at number 65, Robinhood at number 97, Crypto.com at 163. So these are really big things for the crypto market and specifically for meme coins. So retail's showing us that they're about to surge back into the space. And with that brings a lot of excitement, a lot of capital. And that's where, again, you can see SHIB start cutting through thin liquidity levels and actually see this low exchange supply start impacting price. Most Shiba Inu holders, they're not planning on dumping anywhere anytime soon in these charts. Most people want to see a new all-time high. Most people want to see 301. Guys, that's what I want to see too. I want to see us move well beyond that. And I believe we have the ability to do that. I know a lot of people have asked me, what my projections are for this market cycle. And they haven't really changed. I still think somewhere in that 305 through 201 is not out of the realm of reality. But what we need is a bigger, sustainable retail surge, a bigger adoption push. And now that we're seeing all this legislation come through, now that crypto's getting really loud again, we may have enough momentum to start actually triggering some of that adoption. That's why we haven't had, these big alt seasons yet. It's why we haven't had, this continued push that we typically see in the year following the halving. It's essentially been delayed. And now it's looking much more like we are going to see a push into 2026. I'm not saying that's going to happen 100%, but we might be getting to this point where the traditional market cycles are broken and it's more about getting into that, 10%, 15%, 20% of the world in crypto. And meme coin interest, guys, is not something that has fallen away. Retail loves memes. Retail loves those fun, flashy coins, and this is where SHIB truly has a chance to shine, just for the simple fact that it's been around as long as it has. It's made it through a bear market cycle. The fact that exchange supply is so low and that it's continuing to gain holders, the SHIB narrative has not died. In fact, I think it has some of its biggest growth ahead of it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.